everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Waters Runs Deep podcast. We're on episode 21 of season 2, and we're doing time travel today. And we are joined by my good friend, J-Mo, who I work with, and he is also in a band here in Maryland. So I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit more, and then we can get rolling. So thanks for joining, J-Mo.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm J-Mo. Like Ange said, I work with her, so she has to put up with me on a fairly regular basis. So that's good. I play in a local band called Bootleggers and Baptists. We play Pennsylvania, Maryland, DC, Virginia, kind of a little bit all over the, DMV area. We're kind of swampy rock. We have stuff on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube Music and all the good streaming stuff out there. But, being in a band like this clearly makes me an expert in time travel. So I'm happy to be participating with you guys today.
I absolutely agree,
if you do have that.
I was going to say, I have a question. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but we would love to share with our listeners, all 10 of them, some songs from your band. So if you want to send us a song you don't mind us throwing in at the end, or maybe middle, or hey, it could be at the beginning. We don't know. Time's not real. We'd love to share some of your hits, your greatest hits.
Absolutely.
So,
as J-Mo and Angela said, we're going to be talking about time travel today. This may be a two-parter. We're going to see where we get. Want to get a little in-depth with this episode, but things happen, things change, so we're going to scrape the surface today and dive deep in part 2 at some point. So we're going to go ahead and get it kicked off with some Wacky World news.
Yes, and this one is a doozy today. So, as usual, Amanda and I have been sending each other memes on a daily basis, and this one came across our feed. It's not really recent world news, but it counts. It's from last year. So the headline is, a teen proposed to his soulmate. The teenager is 19 years old, and his girlfriend, who he just recently proposed to, is 76. And apparently he got trolled on social media, and everyone thought it was his girlfriend. His grandmother. And to make matters worse, she is also a billionaire.
Oh, nice. Well, we know why he's in love.
Yes. Yes. So this was a big TikTok sensation in Italy, where he proposed to her. He did this on a Monday, claiming to be engaged to his 76-year-old soulmate, whose name has not been publicly disclosed. When this article was written last year, it was clocked up more than 20 million views for this lovely TikTok.
Did they tell us how Nonna is a billionaire?
No, because we don't know her name.
Oh, but we know what she looks like. Couldn't we reverse search? I'm sure she has some type of. And folks, I will post a picture of Nonna and Giuseppe on their love kiss after he proposed, I assume. I mean, look, if Leonardo DiCaprio can do it, why not Nonna? And that's all I have to say about that.
I didn't know Leonardo DiCaprio married or attempted to marry or whatever an older woman.
Oh, no, I meant the opposite.
Well, no, the opposite. Leo goes younger. Leo is currently dating a 19-year-old.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And he's 48, 47.
Well, Amanda, we're not going to name names because we don't want to put it out there, but we do know somebody close to us, we'll just say that had a similar scenario and did, in fact, actually marry the individual. Said marriage didn't last, but all good things must come to an end, as they say.
We do have We're all things
So-
that are 20-year age difference.
Yes.
I mean, that's 20 years, and what Leo's like, what's 20? It's still 20. This is a 57-year age gap.
guess she likes that young D. I don't know. That's amazing.
She must
I
have
mean,
that good
for
bid.
how old she, how old she is, for how she looks for her age. Hey, she can get it.
What's
Anyone will
she's
do
attractive? Is she
anything for
attractive,
money.
old lady?
I mean, she looks like a typical nonna.
Oh,
She actually looks like my neighbor. I don't know what my neighbor
Oh,
looks
wow.
like, but she really
No.
looks like my neighbor, even with like the blue. She's like a blue hair dye. She looks like Aunt Winky, Chris.
Oh my God, she does.
So, do you know
Aunt Winky was a pretty lady, but I mean,
yeah, it was Chris and I's great aunt. She died a couple years ago in like her 90s, but yeah, she looks like a younger Aunt Winky. So.
does she have dark hair or white hair?
She has white hair and then like a blue dye in the
It's
front
like a
of her
blue
hair.
like
so,
soul patch in the front. Yeah.
so she's hip. She's real hip.
Blue soul patch. She has facial hair.
Hair on her head.
Oh,
Well, from all the data you've given me, I have to assume that she's got that good casserole, and that's what this is all about.
I mean, Nonna's got that good lasagna for sure.
chicken parm's on fire.
Oh yeah, not chicken parm. I could eat that all day. Maybe some good cannoli, or he has some good cannoli.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It literally does look like she's his grandmother.
Yeah. So Amanda, this just makes me feel old because he was born the year we graduated.
I mean, she's a pretty lady. I'm looking at her now. She's a pretty lady.
See?
I mean,
Yeah, she's definitely
she's
not bad. She doesn't look like she's had work done or anything. Like
she's a
Oh, yeah,
billionaire,
sorry, Jim, I
right?
don't have your. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shit, for $1 billion, I'm in. Blue hair and all. Looks like
She's rocking the Marge Simpson cut, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Looks
Adam
like she
and I
got
have
a-
a deal,
Simpson
right?
blue.
Like, if I meet a millionaire, or like, so there is this basketball player that plays for the Denver Nuggets that I think is just beautiful. And I'm like, Adam, what would you do if he like came up to me and like wanted to take me away? And he's like, send you with him because he makes millions of dollars. And as long as you send some cheddar back to me, I don't care. That's true love, everyone.
As long as he breaks you off a
so-
slice.
Right.
She looks like she went a little too deep on a Smurf before him. Blue hair. But each to each their own, I guess, right?
Hey, you can't.
Love
find me
knows no
love.
bounds.
Yeah.
Well, apparently you can if you're a billionaire.
Or Leonardo DiCaprio.
So
True.
did she say yes, I'm assuming?
Yes, she did. I'll have to do a little bit more research to see if this engagement is still on or if it's been called off or they actually tied the knot.
That's such a great
Yep.
question, though, Chris. I didn't even think about being like, did she say yes? Was she down for it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What's the
Well-
prenup
Oh,
look
her
like?
ring was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Good for them. I'm happy when people find each other,
Yeah.
whether it be at an
Yeah.
old people home or whatever.
Oh my god, do you think that he was like her nurse?
I'm sure we could come up with an elaborate backstory.
Right
for
now, I have
this.
so many questions.
He had to do community service as part of his graduation, and she was at the nursing home.
Yeah, in order for him to get confirmed with the church, he had to do community service, and that's where he met her. They've been dating for 3 years.
Yeah.
His Eagle Scout project.
Oh man.
All right.
Do you think she has kids or like was married before and her kids are like,
do you think
we're
she
in
has
our 40s?
grandkids?
Right. Like,
Do you think she has grandkids his age?
I've experienced a father figure in my life, marrying a woman literally a month older than me and it being very weird. I cannot imagine if a grandparent married someone younger than me. Like,
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
do her grandkids call her grandpa? Call him grandpa.
Gramps.
Pops.
Gramps Giuseppe.
Oh God. Don't start. Yeah. Sorry. My grandfather was Gramps. And then my grandmother was Non or Nonna. So
Yeah, this is basically
Yes.
Angela's family. What we didn't tell you is that Giuseppe is Angela's cousin now. I'm kidding.
oh God. I mean
But good for them.
I've learned so much in such a short amount of time about Ange.
I know. All the past 5 years of, us working together and knowing each other.
What you
Well, it
didn't know,
comes
out.
Jomo, is Angela is actually married to a 79-year-old billionaire in Italy who lets her live in Maryland. And for some reason, unbeknownst to me, she has picked Brooklyn. Now, I would have gone a little classier with Millersville, but whatever.
I mean, I don't get that high of an allowance, Amanda. Come on.
I was going to say, she would have entirely way more plants than she currently does.
Yeah, that's true.
Facts.
That's
and more
very true.
dogs. And more dogs.
Yes.
But we digress.
I would have every dog possible.
Yes.
And nannies for my dogs. Like each dog would have their own nanny. I would be that lady. Chris is counting. I don't know what he's counting, but I see him using his fingers, which since I've known him for 37, how old are you? 35 years?
He's trying to time travel.
Yeah. No. I was trying to figure out what episode we're on, but
For this season, it's 3.
Fuck. All right, okay.
Which I know, Chris, is actually really hard for you to count up to, but the first 2 are 1 and 2, and then the next one is 3.
I was counting that.
Hold on. Yeah, because we did Skinwalker, we did Lizzie,
and now we're going back in time.
This
baby.
one. Yep.
So, Chris, I have to ask
Lewis. Yeah, I was going to say, can we do like an intro with the...
Yeah, does this episode talk about anything with Back to the Future?
A little
are we
bit.
Are we going to go where no place has gone before?
I was going to start
I need to know more about the time-space continuum and flux capacitors and DeLoreans.
There's a little bit. We're going to go over some movies a little bit later on. The interwebs have said the most, the best time travel movies of all time in order. I'm going to go through them and talk
Number
about
1,
because a lot of
Time
them.
Machine.
Well, a lot of them, to be honest, I've never even heard of. Like, I was surprised. One of them on here, like, I just recently heard of, and it came out in like the 90s or the late or early 2000s, one or the other. But then there's some of the other ones I've never even heard of before. I was surprised. Well, I shouldn't say. There's like 2 or 3 that I haven't heard of before, but yeah. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. But first, start off just explaining, the wiki definition of time travel. So time travel is commonly defined with David Lewis's definition. So an object time travels if and only if the difference between its departure and arrival times are measured in the surrounding world does not equal the duration of the journey undergone by the object. So what that means is something travels when it arrives at the different time than the distance it takes to travel, then it's traveled in time one way or the other. So if it arrives sooner than it was supposed to arrive, basically you're time traveling. So that what I kind of got confused on with that definition is that if it takes you an hour and 15 minutes to get to work, right? and for some reason you arrive to work an hour and 10 minutes. Did you time travel by the definition 5 minutes into the
I sped,
future?
Chris. I broke the speed limit and I went 90.
I was going to say, I was definitely, going way too fast to, beat the clock on Google.
Okay.
Here's my question. Say I leave Florida. I'm driving, I don't know, let's call it a Ford Fiesta. Red for people who need a visual. With an old lady next to me and a dog in the back. This is all hypothetical. And I'm heading to, I don't know, let's pick Colorado. I go through 2 time zones. So it took me 27 hours-ish from one location to the other. But if we're actually counting time, it only took me 25 hours because I lost 2 time zones. So is that time travel?
I mean, I feel like anytime you go through a time zone, it's time travel.
Right. I guess that's probably was an easier question to ask, Ange, instead of giving the description of the car and such.
Yeah.
I mean, I needed the backstory to make me feel like I was there.
And when you started describing the car, and I really thought you were going to say, okay, I'm driving this car, and there's a 76-year-old with me with blue hair and a 19-year-old in the back. And then because of their age difference, that's time travel.
Oh my gosh. What if, J-Mo, what if the 76-year-old actually is originally from our time, went to the future, and came back because she realized Giuseppe was always her love? Hence why she's a billionaire.
I think we have the best. This is going to be number 1 on the time travel movie list after we get done writing the script.
I'd watch it.
I like it.
Yep. I'm already thinking of the theme songs your band can play.
I love it.
That's hilarious. So time travel to the past is theoretically possible in certain general relativity space-time geometries that permit traveling faster than the speed of light, such as cosmic strings, traversable wormholes, and Alcubierre drives, which I probably butchered the shit out of that word, but we're going to ride with it. The theory of general relativity does suggest a scientific basis for the possibility of backward time travel in certain unusual scenarios. So although arguments from semi-classical gravity suggest that when quantum effects are incorporated into general relativity, these loopholes may be closed.
Oh.
These semi-classical arguments led Stephen Hawking to formulate the chronology protection conjecture, suggesting that fundamental laws of nature prevent time travel, but physicists cannot come to a definite art judgment on the issue without a theory of quantum gravity to join quantum mechanics and general relativity into a completely unified theory. So, unless you're a science expert, what does that exactly mean? I hardly know, but pretty much is what it's saying is that the laws of physics prevent. Some physicists say the laws of physics prevent time travel from actually being a thing, especially when traveling into the past. Traveling into the future is a little bit easier, but coming back is not necessarily possible. So there's some common issues that occur for time travel. So there's what's called the causal loop, or these are all paradoxes. So this is what first one's called the causal loop. So this is a paradox of time travel that occurs when a future event is the cause of a past event, which in turn is the cause of the future event. As confusing as that is, let me explain that a little further. Both events then exist in space-time, but the origin cannot be determined. So it's kind of similar to the chicken and the egg theory. So a causal loop may involve an event, a person, or object, or information. The term bootstrap paradox, pedestrian paradox, or ontological paradox are sometimes used in fiction to refer to a causal loop. So this is more or less that it's similar to the idea of I want to go back in time and drop off some plans for a time machine, right? So all of a sudden, say you're sitting there at your desk.
Is it like the sports almanac?
Yeah, similar to that. So you're sitting there and you're on your computer at work or something. All of a sudden, these plans for how to build a time machine land on your desk, right? You build said time machine, and after you build the time machine, you decide you're going to go back in time and give the plans to yourself to build the time machine. So where's the inception of the event? It's kind of like a continuous loop. There's no like definitive beginning to that loop. So that's kind of what they're saying there. So the grandfather paradox. The consistency paradox or grandfather paradox occurs when the past is changed in any way, thus creating a contradiction. A common example given is a traveling to the past and intervening with the conception of one's ancestors, such as causing the death of the parent or beforehand.
So this is just basically Marty going back in time and making sure his parents meet so he is alive.
More or
Or
less.
it's Fry going back in time and realizing that his grandfather doesn't sleep with his grandmother. It's him who sleeps with his grandmother.
Yes.
That's making him.
In a sense, like it's basically saying
His own
that
grandfather.
you can't go back in time and like intervene and cause them for you to be born, whether you kill a family member, a grandfather or whatever, or you cause your parents not to meet, like Back to the Future. It's causing a grandfather paradox. So if the time traveler were not born, then it would not be possible for them to undertake such an act in the first place. Therefore, the ancestor lives to offspring the time traveler's next generation ancestor and eventually the time traveler. So that's another one. It's like there's no, if he didn't exist, if he caused himself not, the time traveler causes himself not to exist, then how does he go back in time to, how does he even exist to go back in time to make that happen?
Different timeline.
Yeah. That's another thing too, is the multiple, multiverse, multiple timelines, branches, and everything else. All right, so talk about some ways that time travel, common themes for time travel. So the main one is wormholes. So wormholes are hypothetical warp space-time permitted by Einstein's field equations of general relativity. So basically, the simplest way to think about it is that it's an opening in one part of time and to another opening another part of time. So it's basically, I'm sure everybody knows what a wormhole is. It's a way to traverse through space-time to get from one end to the other. To go through a brief history of time travel. So in 1895, H.G. Wells' novel, The Time Machine, popularized the idea of time as the fourth dimension, through which it might be possible to travel with three spatial dimensions. In 1905, Einstein's groundbreaking paper on the theory of relativity introduces the idea of time dilation, the first hint that, in real physics, as well as sci-fi, time might be interchangeable with space. So I feel like people probably thought about or talked about time travel for way further back than 1895, but I guess it really wasn't documented too much prior to that. But I feel like it's always been a fantasy that, even making the simplest mistake, like fantasizing about going back in time and changing that, one thing, like, oh man, I wish I would have studied harder last night for that test. I wish if I can go back in time, I would correct that or whatever.
It's like what Amanda and I were talking about on the last episode with our Wacky World news. Would you go back in time and go back to high school?
Yeah. And what's funny is I was listening to another podcast recently, and they covered that story. That same story about the guy, it was a woman that went to school. What country was that in? I forgot now.
It was in New Jersey.
Oh, was it? I thought it was in another country.
No, we were in Jersey.
I mean, sometimes I feel like New Jersey is another country, but
to me, it's hell. So there's that.
Oh man,
Amanda, you're not talking.
So is that the question? If you could time travel, would you go back to high school?
Yeah.
No, I think our question originally, the question last week was,
would you go back to high school?
Now, I don't know how old you are, Gino, but at your age, would you fake a high school student to go back to high school now? And then that transformed in that if you had the opportunity to go back, every knowledge you have, would you go?
No regrets, man. I don't think I'd go back to high school.
I think I said something similar.
Yeah.
And now I would not go back. I have no desire to ever enter a high school hall again.
No thanks.
Can't enter ours.
Yeah, yours doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
So, 1927, the physicist Arthur Eddington first introduces the concept of the era of time and its relation to entropy in his book titled The Nature of Physical World. So 1935, together with Nathan Rosen, Einstein shows that under certain circumstances, it's possible to have a shortcut between two different points in space-time. What they're talking about is a wormhole, even between past and future. 1941, two American experimenters, Herbert Ives and G.R. Stilwell, confirmed the reality of time dilation by observing fast-moving particles inside a TV-style cathode ray tube. So to me, when I read that, when I was pulling this stuff out, to me it felt like they were just staring at a broken TV, like high on God knows what, and turned it on and watched like sparks dance around. That's like what the picture that came to my mind.
What year was that?
1941.
I don't think there were TVs in the 40s.
What's a cathode ray tube? I don't know. Maybe that was the inception of
TVs,
TV.
or maybe they were.
I'm sorry, 1927.
Was when the first TV came out?
Yes, September 7th,
They just had the
1927.
movies. What do they call them?
No.
The movie pictures.
The moving
The
pictures?
talkies. The talkies.
Well, that's when they came out with movies with words. They called it the talkies.
Which is funny because now I don't actually watch TV. I just read it because I have subtitles because I can't hear people because I'm old.
So from here, we jump to 1974.
We jump. Wait. For 50 years, we don't do shit?
Well, 33 years, from 41 to 74.
It's because the TV was.
I forgot we were in the 40s. My bad.
We were too busy watching TV, like JMO said.
Yeah.
Physicist Frank Tipler designs the first real time machine, on paper at least. According to the design, the Tipler cylinder would use a string of rotation neutron stars to produce a closed time-like curve. Basically, it was some sort of similar cylinder that would be rotating neutron stars inside of it to cause a some sort of dilation in the space and time. So 1992 from there, so another 22 roughly years, no, more than that, 28 years. So 1992, Stephen Hawking suggests that there might be an undiscovered law of nature that prevents closed time-like curves, therefore preventing time travel into the past from occurring. So Stephen Hawking seems like, and there's another piece that I'll prove this, he constantly tries to find ways that time travel is not possible, it seems like. Just he's always going around trying to make it not work or prove that it doesn't work. So in 2009, Stephen Hawking holds a party for time travelers, which is widely publicized. It was actually on a TV show on the Science Channel, Discovery Channel, or something like that. But only after it has taken place. So unfortunately, no time travelers showed up to the party. So what he did was he threw this party, but he didn't send out the invitations to the party until after the party, which to me is kind of lame. Like, if there actually is time travel, do you think they're going to out themselves and risk like messing with history in a sense? You know, like, I feel like that's a lame way to like prove if it's real or not. And how does he know who to throw the invitations to?
Well, wouldn't it be history anyway if they did show up?
Yeah, but it like maybe if they bring out time travel now, it would cause like a major wreck in our timeline. So they don't do it.
Well,
as a
exactly.
result.
And you've said all the risks, right? Like, people's grandfathers wouldn't be born, and it would just cause all these issues.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of different things. You know, the butterfly effect. You know, that's a popular movie term that I'm sure everybody's heard of. But for those that haven't, if you step on a butterfly in the future, is that going to cause the world to end 100 years earlier in the past? I'm sorry, I said that backwards. If you step on a butterfly in the past, is that going to cause the world to end in the future 100 years earlier or something like that? So there's definitely risks to time travel for sure, and that could have been one of them. If they came out too soon, then it would cause major issues with our future. So a couple time travel things that I came across. So there's some artifacts that have been found, and I've just pulled a couple that were really interesting to me that I thought there was something to it. And some of the other ones I stumbled across that it could also be, my favorite topic, which we'll get into and do an episode on, is Tartaria, which is, the belief that there was a intelligent society that lived before us, and once we get to a certain point technologically, they kind of just hit the reset button and start over, where just humanity's gone and they start over again. So there, a couple of those things were like this ancient computer that was found in a shipwreck that was used to predict stars, and also apparently predicted, well, it'll keep track of when the next Olympics are. It's a lot of weird things that the device can do, and it was apparently like hundreds of thousands of years old. Another one that I found, this one's more in line with the time travel, is what they call the 100-million-year-old hammer. So this is a hammer that was found in London, Texas in 1934, encased in stone that had formed around it. The rock surrounding the hammer is said to be more than 100 million years old. Glenn J. Cuban, a vocal skeptic, claims the hammer was made millions of years ago, said the stone may contain materials that are more than 100 million years old, but that doesn't mean the rock formed around the hammer so long ago. Some limestone is formed around the artifacts known to be from the 20th century. So concentrations can form quickly around objects, he said. Concentrations are masses of hardened mineral matter. Oh, God, Chris, I don't know what my deal is, man. I cannot read. I'm reading concentrations, and it's definitely concretions.
So
I'm going to read that paragraph over again, guys. Bear with me.
So the hammer.
Fuck.
The hammer. So are we... do we know when Thor was born? I mean, is there any chance that this could be linked to that? Asking the hard questions here.
I have a picture of the hammer, and it's not a very Thor-like hammer. I'll show you guys a picture here in a minute. So some limestone is formed around the artifact known to be from the 20th century. So concretions can form fairly quickly around objects, he said. Concretions are masses of hardened mineral matter. So Carl Ball, who was in possession of the artifact, said the wooden handle has turned to coal, evidence of its great age, and the metal it is made of has a strange composition. Critics have called for more independent testing to verify these claims, but thus far no such testing has been conducted. They call it the London Hammer. And we'll post these pictures on YouTube for you, or the social medias for the listeners. But first,
Yeah.
So here is the hammer.
Oh, all right.
So it's not so much Thor-like, but it definitely looks
definitely
old.
not
Like
Thor.
it's not. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what the deal with the shell is next to it.
Looks like a
I couldn't
mining tool or something.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
So
but
like
it definitely
you put
looks
a
old.
quarter next to something.
It could be, yeah, like a size comparison, maybe. They could have picked a quarter instead of
Although I don't know what that
shell
is.
rock thing.
Right.
So is the 76-year-old's nickname the London Hammer?
Yes.
The Italian hammer.
Oh, there you go.
More in line from her heritage. But I've heard of this story before, and it is fascinating that, like, if somebody could explain it, I'd love to hear the explanation. But 100 million years ago, we didn't have the means to create tools of this style. So it's just interesting that if it is actually 100 million years old, that means there's an ancient, society that was capable of doing things that we didn't think they were, or this thing somehow teleported back in time.
So So does that mean we can open the can of worms about like the pyramids and Stonehenge and stuff like that now?
Yeah, by all means. I mean, I think all that stuff. They've proved time and time again that we can't build the pyramids the way they say they built them. It's just it would have taken, like they say they built them as tombs, which in the Great Pyramids they've never found a body inside of them, any of them. You know, some of the other smaller tombs that are of the mid dynasty or late dynasty, they found bodies in them or mummies inside of them. But that could have been just the next generation coming along trying to mimic what they thought the more ancient Egyptians were doing. There's things coming out now that the pyramids were. Well, they've been coming out. People have theorized this forever that they were the pyramids were used as like energy sources, and they had obelisks that the electricity would pass on to, and it kind of is based off of Tesla's theory of being able to draw electricity out of the environment or another dimension. It's pretty fascinating, but I do believe there's something there. I don't think they were used as tombs. They weren't. If you look at the way they're designed, they're not designed for that. It's just they're not easy to traverse and get inside. It's not like the Great Pyramids. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I wonder how many of those hammers they used to make the pyramids.
So you're telling me King Tut wasn't found in a pyramid, Chris?
He was found in a pyramid. He wasn't found in the Great Pyramids. I'm talking about the ones in Giza, the Great Pyramids in Giza.
The three. The big three ones.
Oh, I've been there. I've seen them.
Of course
the
you
small
have.
ones they found bodies in, but the big Great Pyramids they did not find. There was no mummies found in those.
You can't really go in because isn't there like structural damage inside? Because like we only were able to see the outside part.
The Great Pyramid?
We didn't go inside.
People have gone in there. In there. I mean, they're not allowed to have tours in there, but there's people have gone in the pyramids though, the Great Pyramids.
Did you give me a mic?
No, this is the mic I've had. It's a Lewitt 440 Pure, if you're wondering.
I do. Maybe we can get them to sponsor.
Yes, it's a very nice microphone. Lewitt 440 Pure. It's a good microphone.
Right.
Well, that'd be
great. I've been trying to get Liquid Death to endorse us, but
we're not going to get an endorsement from Red Bull, that's for sure.
No, because they've caused me to have to edit this podcast like crazy because I'm talking a mile a minute and my eyes are reading words incorrectly. All thanks to Red Bull. Thanks, Red Bull.
That's a great endorsement for Red Bull.
It is. I nailed it.
I've only had Red Bull like twice in my life, and usually it was with Jaeger attached.
You mean
to
vodka?
So. No, isn't Jaeger and a Jaeger bomb is Jaeger and Red Bull?
I don't know.
Right?
It's a thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess so.
My liver is like, you're correct.
I don't do Red Bull, so.
I do on occasion. I used to drink them a lot more, but I've cut way back. And the more I'm going through this podcast, I'm remembering why.
What Red Bull?
So the next one, artifact from possibly the future, is the 500,000-year-old spark plug. So in 1961, 3 people were out searching for geodes. For those who don't know, geodes they're rock-like structure that has like a crystal inside. A lot of time it's like purple crystal inside of it. So searching for geodes for their gem and gift shop in Olancha, California, when they found what appeared to be a spark plug encased in a geode. Virginia Maxey, one of the 3 discoverers, said at the time that the geologist examined the fossils around the device and dated the device at 500,000 years or older. The geologist was never named, and the current whereabouts of the artifact are unknown. Critics of the claim, Pierre Stromberg and Paul V. Heinrich, only have X-rays and an artist's sketch of the artifact to analyze. They think it was a modern spark plug encased in quick-forming concretion rather than a geode. But Stromberg and Heinrich have said there is little hard evidence that the original discoverers intended to deceive anyone. I have a picture real quick to show you guys of that one.
You guys, I forgot to tell you that I found this artifact, but can't tell you the location of it, and I can't tell you how I found it, but I drew a picture for you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a penis. That's for our listeners. I just appreciated that they were like, nobody knows where it's at, and nobody else has seen it, but we can draw you a picture of what we think it looks like.
Yeah, I gotta say that was a cute picture of a penis, by the way.
Okay,
it was a heart-shaped penis for Valentine's Day.
It's perfect, and it's pink.
Yes.
Okay, I'm confused by this picture. Not Amanda's picture. That, to me, I guess from the top, but how could this hurts my head.
So the spark plug here on the side, on the right side of the picture, that's just
I know that's an actual spark plug.
Yeah, that's what they think it is, and it's basically saying that this is like if you were to chop the head off this, or even right here,
like
this
circumcision.
is what you would see.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I'm wondering is where's the other half of it? Wouldn't the other half be? But I guess they don't have the actual. This is an artist rendering. It's not the actual.
Amanda, I think I found your new calling in life, and it is to draw pictures of things that have not been found yet, based on descriptions.
Yeah, this might be out of the Pep Boys catalog, honestly.
Yeah, right. It looks like an eyeball that's been dilated.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's definitely steel with porcelain. I mean, that's what spark plugs are made out of, is porcelain and steel. And I shouldn't say that. I don't know if that's porcelain, but it's definitely something that looks like porcelain in the center. And definitely on the outside looks like something that's steel encased in rock. I mean, I know that for sure by looking at it.
And we know that those were things. We know those were things that didn't exist. How many years ago? 500,000?
Yeah. I mean, well, not that they didn't exist, but they didn't exist in that format to our knowledge.
Right. Can you imagine being the Joe Schmo who goes back in time and you end up, you're like, man, I'm really sick of 1974. I wish it was just year 74. And so you go back in time and you're like, you know what this little village or these Native Americans really need? A spark plug. Like, they're...
Could be.
Hey, they needed their light. That's how they got fire. Don't judge them.
It's probably like, he probably had like a men's only, what was the membership only jackets, you know? But his was kind of puffy.
Members only.
He had a hat. Yeah. And he had a hat, and that's why they thought that the god was like an eagle. Because they were like, what's this guy wearing? Oh, and Joe was from Philadelphia, and he was an Eagles fan. So he kept singing the Fly, Eagles, Fly song. And they were just like, all right, well, I guess this guy taught us fire can be our leader and our god. And that's why we have what we have. You're welcome. Solve that problem.
All right. So next, I have a couple kind of stories of possible time travel that occurred. So there was these news reporters that were going around to a shipyard in Germany. And upon leaving, they it was like they almost went to a parallel universe or something happened. They started seeing bombs go off around them, stuff blowing up. They had to run out of the building itself. The security guard, they asked the security guard that was there if they could do anything to help, but they just rushed him out. And they immediately left the area. Once they left the area, they turned back and everything seemed to be fine, like nothing happening. There's no planes in the skies. There's no bombs exploding, falling. Everything's fine. This happened in Hamburg shipyard in Germany. 11 years later, a picture came out during the World War II, and it was of this factory being bombed. And I'll show you guys the picture. And the two reporters said that it was exactly what they saw and lived through 11 years prior. That didn't actually happen until then. So kind of, there's the picture there. So that's actually what they saw during the 11 years prior before it happened. And then it just kind of went away after they left the plane. It kind of just went away. And see, if stuff like that, I believe it happens.
When did this
but it's
happen?
like, what's the purpose of that? Why would that happen? You know? Right, 11 years before World War II. So that's like the 1923, 4, something like that, I believe.
Okay. If they went back, couldn't they have been like, oh, this doesn't look good. How can I stop this
32.
from happening? Or were they just like
Well, they
unsure what was
didn't
going on?
know. Yeah,
Oh,
they didn't know what
alright.
was going on. Yeah.
I won't cancel them just yet.
So yeah, it was 1932. I take that back. And it seemed like a lot of this was going on during the 40s because here's another picture. So it was at the South Fork Bridge in the early 40s in British Columbia, Canada. So it's a picture, and the picture shows a man they call it the time traveling hipster. He just looks out of place and like he's not wearing clothes of the time. This one's pretty interesting to me. I mean, I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but it's definitely an interesting one. So if you see if you can find him in the picture.
Oh, you mean because the sunglasses and his zip-up hoodie don't give it away?
Yeah. Isn't that weird though? Like it just doesn't seem like he fits. Everybody else, it's business suits and not top hats, but men's hats, fedora style hats, and he's just rocking some sunglasses, a zipped up hoodie, and a t-shirt,
and a Mario t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean it's just strange. Mario? It's got an M on it or something.
It looks like he went out for a run or to like go to his like a local weed shop and took a wrong turn.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say though, he doesn't look very hipstery to me.
No, I wouldn't call him a hipster.
No.
Not the modern day hipster. I think when not this article specifically, but I think when that name took off, because I remember seeing this picture. Oh man, 15 years ago, I remember seeing this picture going around. So maybe 15 years ago, hipster.
But okay, if he is, what's in his hand? Is that like a camera in his hand?
Yeah, they said that it was like a camera, a Walkman. That usually wasn't mentioned too often, but yeah.
Because some people have cameras, right? Sorry, Gemma.
I was gonna say I kind of get like 90s, like late 90s rock fan is what I get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's like wearing puka shells, I think.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, definitely out of place for sure. It's definitely
That's crazy.
There's another one that's not true. It's basically kind of it came out that it was not true. It was a news article that came out in the early 2000s about this time traveler who went back in time and hit the stock market for like $350 million. But that was proved wrong. It was kind of not a scam, but a fraudulent claim. It was a news story that was proved wrong. This one gives me chills. This story, it's another one that's been going around forever. It kind of gives me chills. It's called The Man from Red. So, on a hot afternoon in July 1954, a man arrived at the Haneda Airport, also known as the Tokyo International Airport. He was described to be a Caucasian man with a beard. This man is known to have been French, but he was pretty fluent in other languages as well, including Japanese. Now, there are a couple versions of the story. Some say the man handed over his passport to be stamped by the Japanese immigration officials when the officers realized that while the passport seemed perfectly fine, the country where it was issued, Red, did not exist in real life. In another version, the man mentioned that he was from Taured and the officers didn't believe him, he showed his passport. Either way, the man tried his best to convince the officers that Taured does in fact exist in real life. He claimed that it was located in between France and Spain. He claimed that his hometown wasn't new either and said it had been around for at least 1,000 years. Eventually, the man was shown a world map. He pointed to the area which is currently the Principality of Andorra. He generally seemed confused as to why the authorities were hell-bent on calling this place Andorra. Eventually, the immigration officers arrested the man on suspicions of being a criminal. To interrogate him further and figure out what in God's name was going on, he was shifted to a hotel nearby. 2 guards were positioned outside his room. But guess what happened? When they went to check on the man the next day, he vanished. Poof, gone. There were no signs of escape. Even the documents he was carrying with him could have been used as evidence of the man's existence, disappeared as well. Could he have been a man from the future? Or more interestingly, could he be living in a parallel universe where Andorra is known as Taured? Isn't that fascinating? It gives me chills every time I think about that story, because there's people that actually said that happened. Like that guy came and, had the passport, the whole 9 yards. And granted, for sure, it could have been an elaborate hoax, no doubt. I definitely wouldn't put that past somebody. But it's 1954. I don't feel like there's too many people putting that kind of effort into a hoax of that caliber. It just doesn't. To me, it doesn't work. Has any of you guys ever heard that story before?
I hadn't heard the story before, but it kind of sounds like a catch me if you can kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another one is another photo for you guys. It's of a woman from a Charlie Chaplin movie. She's supposedly an extra in a Charlie Chaplin movie. And in the photo, let me share with you guys. It looks like she's doing something, and I want to see if you guys can figure out what you think she's doing. It's pretty easy, but what do you think she's doing?
Is she walking her zebra?
No, she has nothing to do with the zebra. It's just right here. What
does it seem like she's doing? Or talking on a phone?
Is she talking on a phone?
Yeah.
Oh. That's some good cell phone reception.
Yeah, apparently she wasn't like an extra, like a legit paid extra. It was just they were filming the streets and caught her, unexpectedly.
That's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild. It goes up there with the. There's another one similar to that. So it's a phone in an 1860 painting. So the artist is an Austrian individual by the name of Ferdinand George Waldmuller. The photo is called "The Unexpected," allegedly depicting a woman holding and staring down at a phone while strolling along a path in the countryside. However, art experts debunked these claims and stated that the alleged phone that the woman is holding in the painting was actually a prayer book. But to me, and I'll show you, it surely looks like a phone. Right?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It's like what you would see walking down the street now, somebody using their phone,
I mean, yeah, but you could still kind of see a book.
I could see it being a prayer book, I could see phone, but that's, I think, because we're
conditioned to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I could see where it could be a prayer book.
Yeah, this one I'm not, 100%.
I'm going, it's a phone, and her and her man right there, they're doing some geocaching. They're trying to figure out where the spot's at. It's somebody really captured the moment here.
Or maybe they're playing Pokemon Go.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, there you go. So, this one is one of my favorites. It's come up in one of my other favorite topics, the topic of Project Serpo. And it talks about briefly the chronovisor. Does anybody know what the chronovisor is?
It's the advisor of Chrono.
Is it something that I would learn from Star Trek?
It has something to do with time. Someone that maybe oversees time.
No. So the chronovisor was believed to be a time viewer that was invented by some people related to the Catholic Church. I don't remember. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I don't remember exactly the 100% details. It's apparently, I want to say it was two priests that invented this device. It's basically like looks like an old time TV, and it was called the chronovisor. And you could use it basically to view past events. You can kind of put in whatever you want, and it would, put in a time or a year, and it would show you events that were going on at that time. And it would go all the way back to apparently the inception was the crucifixion of Jesus, and it would go all the way through the future as well. Apparently.
That sounds like something that they did on Loki.
Yeah, I was just thinking that with, what's his name? The Timekeepers.
Yeah.
It's possible. They could have bit off that for sure. I mean, that's another one that's been going around for a while. The Philadelphia project or experiment, they call it, that one's kind of interesting. It really wasn't intended to be time travel per se. So with the Philadelphia experiment, so let me make sure I get the years right. So back in 1943, so it was right around the time of World War II, the U.S. Navy was doing experiments to render basically using Tesla's scientific data and trying to render a battleship invisible, more or less make it to where you can't see the ship. So they put the device on the ship. They had the ship loaded with sailors, and they were in they were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the water, and they enacted the device, and the ship disappeared. It totally vanished. Next thing they know, some time later, the ship shows back up, and they board the ship, and there are soldiers that are fused in the ship. Like basically they've become a part of the ship. There's soldiers that are totally confused, just all kinds of mayhem that you can imagine on the ship itself. It was reported from the soldiers that where they ended up, they kind of vanished as they ended up in Norfolk, Virginia, and they're in the harbor there, because some soldiers described where they were, and they just decided it was Norfolk, Virginia. So although they didn't intend it to end up as time travel per se, or they don't necessarily know if they went back in time because they weren't there that long. They, didn't intend on, traveling basically through a wormhole or something else. So another interesting one. You guys heard of that one at all? Philadelphia experiment?
No, and I lived in Norfolk, so it makes me feel like I really missed out on this.
Yeah, you did.
I was going to say, we didn't hit that on our Norfolk tour.
I know.
Jeez.
And I wish we would have.
I mean, I feel like I've heard of it, but I didn't know the details of it.
Yeah, and I just touched just barely on it. It deserves a topic of its own. I mean, for sure. So I got a few more pictures for you, and then we'll jump into some other fun stuff, some movie topics. But this one,
I'm excited for the movie topic.
Yeah. This one is photos of possible time travelers. So let's see if you can find Where's Waldo Time Traveler, and tell me what they're doing.
Is it the person smack dab in the center looking at a phone?
Yeah, and I realized after I said that I was circling it with the cursor, telling you where it is.
Yeah.
So I do apologize. But yeah, it looks like
It could be
he's wearing
a compass.
Mm-hmm.
So these apparently are factory workers that are on some kind of break or some sort of. They're apparently all factory workers. It's during the war, and they were kind of taking a break, and somebody took a photo, and they apparently caught this guy who's wearing, a full Mr. Bean outfit. It seems like, looking at what appears to be a phone. Yeah, but that was pretty interesting.
It would be better if it was Mr. Bean and he's just looking around like, how did I get here? You know,
Everything's better with Mr. Bean.
Yes.
So,
agreed.
When do you think
Maybe Mr. Bean is a time traveler?
Hey, maybe.
Mm.
When do you think the hairstyle of a mohawk came out?
The 70s?
No, it was before that because the Indians had it.
Native Americans. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Native Americans.
Yes.
Politically
I prefer
correct.
to be politically correct in this show. I didn't even think
this
that though,
one
and you are right.
shows a guy, everybody else wearing hats and everything like that. This one's not as strong as me, but this guy's got a mohawk going on here and a white t-shirt.
Is it a mohawk?
I was gonna say, is it a mohawk or is it just like the middle part of his head and the rest of it shaved, like a Peaky Blinders situation?
That's, you know what? I will take that. That's a fair point. This is in 1905. I do too. One of my favorites. I haven't finished it.
Wait, I missed Mohawk guy. Where is he?
The white shirt next to the pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't
it's
really
more
see
of a
Mohawk.
Peaky Blinders.
It almost looks like something in the background is kinda amplifying it too.
Yeah.
Is it the guy riding the... Looks like he's riding something. Oh no, I think he's climbing the rope on the boat.
So the guy in the middle with
on
the
a ladder.
suspenders, the guy in the middle with the suspenders, he's definitely giving me some ZZ Top vibes with his beard.
Oh yeah. That,
yes.
That's a beard.
We have a new theory: ZZ Top time travel.
Okay, but you guys
time traveler.
You two both have beards. Like, can you imagine having a beard that long? Like, back in that time, how do you keep it from collecting dust mites?
Are you talking about this guy right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a beard. I think he's throwing something into the back of the wagon.
Oh.
As you look at it.
Yeah, it could be. Listen, that's more of a beard than that is a mohawk. I'm sticking to it.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I think I have one more. This one. Well, these are kind of quick ones. There's this theory that's floating around. I don't think it's as strong as it used to be, of time traveling celebrities, or people that are big in the news or whatever you want to call it. And there's these photos from back in whatever time period that look identical to the people now. So some kind of celebrities now.
Do you have the one in Nicolas Cage? Because that's my favorite.
I believe so, and if not, I'm sure I could pull it up. I was trying to pick the ones that I haven't seen before, but I think, if I remember correctly, I think he's in this.
Because it's Nicolas. I think Johnny Depp's in one. Dave Chappelle, maybe. I'm trying to remember all the ones I've seen.
Who doesn't like a
Here's
good
one.
Dave Chappelle?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I see it.
I definitely see Jimmy Fallon. Yep.
Big time.
I don't know that I've ever seen Jimmy Fallon with a handlebar mustache. That's
he did it. He did No Shave November this year, and then he slowly shaved it off.
So this is a Marxist Leninist revolutionary leader, Mahir Kayan. Butchered the shit out of that name. So he's born in 1946 and died in 1972, and he's, of course, has a striking resemblance to TV star Jimmy Fallon.
I mean, I can see subtle differences, but yeah.
It's very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things that they don't repeat. It's kind of like it gets so far where you can't repeat, looks. Like it's going to duplicate in a sense,
Yeah, we all have doppelgangers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's Vladimir Putin, who's also looks like he's served in many wars. And I don't have the Nicolas Cage one. I thought I did. This is the only other one I have prepped, so I can grab that one though.
Oh wow!
Isn't that crazy?
He just looks like a Russian.
Definitely a striking resemblance across all three.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was roughly World War One, World War II, and then somewhat present day.
Strong genes on that side of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe since he was part of the KBG, what they didn't tell us is he was part of like the cloning part of the KBG.
Ooh.
They've been creating since the 20s.
The KBG or the KGB?
I don't know. Probably KGB, I think is what it is. I think KBG is like our news network.
Close enough.
Yeah.
So
yes, KGB.
here is the last one of that style, the famous people, Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Oh, my favorite one is...
I believe a lot of them have it. Johnny Depp has one. Leonardo DiCaprio has one. I mean, there's a ton of them out there that have that.
My favorite
if you want to go down
Daniel Radcliffe. Have you ever seen the one with Daniel Radcliffe?
No.
He has one?
Yeah, can I steal? Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me find the picture.
Another rabbit hole to jump down is the that they are actually that old and they've been drinking adrenochrome to keep themselves alive. You ever think of that? Good theory.
Adrenochrome or blood, because they're vampires.
Well, it could. I think that there's slight trace amounts of adrenochrome in blood, so they could be extracting the adrenochrome from the blood. They could be vampires.
Okay.
Okay, I had to pull up the picture of Daniel to show you all, but I thought this was funny.
So after Amanda pulls hers, I have two more of this style. So I have another cell phone guy.
Is it a woman?
Yeah, hold on. I think it's closer. They're all women.
Oh my god.
And they look like him.
Clearly tell
what
with
he
the
really
one with the
looks like.
necklace.
Right. Well, that's a legend, but yeah. So this is what Daniel Radcliffe looks like. And then there's the one people. And they're all women. And apparently he gets told a lot that he looks like other people, but it's rarely men or boys. It's typically women.
I think a lot of that. It's the glasses, I feel like, though, on that one, you know?
The glasses and being British.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll do it. So, the last two of the time travelers throughout history I have is another cell phone picture. See if you can find this guy. He's pretty easy to find.
Leave your mouse this time.
Don't need the mouse because you already circled for it.
Oh, okay.
Definitely looks like a phone.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that one I don't think I have an answer of what that could be.
Nope.
And he's like looking at the camera like, oh shit, I've been busted. You know?
What if it's a radio? And he's listening
they weren't
to
that small.
The Knicks game. I don't know.
They weren't that small then. The radios were a lot bigger. Look at the cars, how old the cars are.
Mm-hmm.
This is 1943.
Oh. Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd still have a bigger radio. It wouldn't be that small handheld.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm. Got caught, buddy.
Last one's kind of fun. And I never understood this concept, but it's kind of fun to look at and see. And why did it do that? You fucker. It's of a... Well, I'll just let you guys see this one. This one's not circle or anything, so you guys can call it.
The dab.
Nailed it.
No way.
Yeah. Isn't that
Definitely
crazy?
dabbing.
How
They all look
authentic
like
are
they're-
these images?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
How authentic are these images?
I mean,
Because this one, I feel like he's photoshopped.
Really?
So I feel like these are all men that are just recreating World War.
So That last one though, it felt like, I think it looks weird because it's a vintage picture that they went back and added color to it. Is kind of what I got out of it.
I don't know.
Oh, I take
like
that back. This one was debunked. I take that back. This one was debunked. I missed that.
So I was right.
You were right. So this is of some actors.
The fact checker.
Yes,
that's why we pay her the small change.
So the first thing they said, so it turns out to be...
What did the fact checker say?
So it isn't a photo of a time traveler, but rather an image of some actors from 2017's blockbuster Dunkirk. The fact that most of the soldiers are smiling should also be a bit of a giveaway with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, fact checked on that. Cool beans. All right. So,
movie time.
Top 15 time travel movies. Real quick before I go any further, because I have. Yeah. And I guarantee you, there's some. Most of them you're gonna know. So my sources for this episode are going to be Wikipedia, Journal News, Ancient Origins, India Times, and Pocket Lint. Just in case I missed that. Can anybody name some top 15 movies? Or do you want me to go? How you want me to do it? You want me to go through them? Or do you want to guess some?
I can. Okay. So I have to ask the stupid question. Are we including all three Back to the Futures as the top 15?
No.
Okay.
We are not.
Okay. All right. So.
Oops, that's a lie.
With the OG Back to the Future.
I'm sorry. I lied. There's two of those in there. I missed one. There's two of those in there.
Part 1 and Part 2. Yes. Part 3 is Yeah. So you got part 1 and Part 2.
Part 2 is number 12.
Okay.
Part 1 is number 1.
As it should be.
Yep.
Is Looper on this list?
Ooh, good one.
Yes, it is on. It's number 10.
Okay. How about Terminator?
Which one?
Interesting.
Terminator, the original, is number 14.
Oh. Hot take. I think the second one's way better than the first, but
well,
unpopular opinion.
It's number 3 on this list.
Oh.
So maybe a popular opinion.
Yeah.
Now, is Hot Tub Time Machine number 1?
No, Back to the Future was.
Oh,
and it's not even on the list.
How dare they?
So that means Bill and Ted's probably not on there.
Which one is it?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Number 5.
Yes.
Wait. They include Bill and Ted, but not Hot Tub Time Machine because that's an epic movie.
Yeah. I agree.
It is.
Any more guesses?
Hold on. Thinking.
Endgame.
You guys are missing.
With the Adventures.
No.
Give me decade.
80s is probably for number 2 is the 80s, I think, or 90s. I don't know.
Does time comp count?
No. Number 4 is of the 60s, late 60s.
What's the show that
movie? Go ahead, Amanda.
That show that's it's like you are now entering Twilight Zone. Is there something Twilight Zone-y in there?
Nope. All right. So I'll go through the ones unless you guys need some more time.
Oh, what's that show with the guy who goes back in time and goes in Quantum Leap?
Nope. That's a TV show.
We're doing movies, not shows.
Not a movie. Good guess, though.
It was
Good show as well.
close. What was an Endgame where they're naming time travel things, and Ant-Man says something that's like not even a time travel. So. I can't think of it now. I'm going to have to find that clip and share it with you.
One of them,
Ant-Man
I'm
moment
not even.
right now.
Run through the list, Chris.
There's one on here that I don't think it should be on here, but I want to go through. All right, I'll go through the list. Number 15. So it's called Primer. I've never even heard of it. It came out in 2004, and it's an indie drama, and it revolves around two engineers who accidentally discover a mechanism of time travel while tinkering with entrepreneurial tech projects. So Carruth doesn't dumb down any of the science of the movie, and indeed charts have been made to explain the exact mechanics of what's going on in this film. But it nevertheless remains one of the most scientifically intense time travel movies ever made. Anybody ever heard of that one?
Nope.
Nope.
Me neither. Next one I have not heard of.
It's got a good rating on Rotten Tomatoes, though.
Really? I have to check it out.
73%.
Wow. Number 14, of course, is the OG Terminator, as well as it should be. Well, it should be on the list, but I feel like it should be further up. Definitely beating out one further down the list. Number 13 is called About Time. Anybody ever heard of that one?
Yes, I love that. I was going to say that, but I didn't know if it was like a time machine. What?
Is it the Amelia... What's her face? Chick from... Nope. It's Rachel McAdams. Just kidding. Nope. Ignore me.
Yeah, this one is her husband can travel in time.
Oh, we forgot the time traveler's wife, Amanda.
Not on there.
Forget the time traveler's wife.
So that's number 13. Number 12, of course, we already mentioned, is Back to the Future 2. Number 11, I just recently heard about, and I really want to watch. I've never seen it, but it's so funny that this is on here because I just recently heard about this cult classic, apparently. And apparently, it's coming popular because it's showing how, television and society is like really dumbing down the, the people. Or
I know which one you're going to talk about. It's they're idiots.
Is it Idiocracy?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. Jimbo. Oh, that is good.
That movie's funny.
Yeah, that's like one of Adam's favorite movies.
I don't remember time travel in that, though.
Yeah, because the main character time travels to the future.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's so smart that they like think he's a genius, but he's actually an idiot in his time. But he's like a genius in that time.
Yeah, okay. They water the grass with Gatorade because it has electrolytes.
That's right. And he's like, why are you doing this? And he like tells him to use water. I think water's poison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
So number 10 is one of my favorites, Looper. Which
great film.
Yeah. That is a great one.
I'm sure everybody knows that one. Number 9, I don't understand why it's on here, and I hope somebody can explain this. But real quick, it says it stands out as one of the best time travel movies ever made. Can anybody guess what that movie is? It's number 9, mind you.
No.
Austin Powers.
No, but a good guess. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I can explain this to you as our certified Harry Potter fanatic. I have been training for this moment my whole life. Let me stretch. Get my wand. Wait, where's my wand?
Please flex your nerd muscle right now.
Well, I don't have my wand in here. Don't tell my husband because he bought me 2 of them. I'm literally currently playing Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, so in Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, Hermione has a necklace. I have visual effects for you. I can show you what it looks like because I have one. So she has a necklace that has this thing on it, and if you spin it a certain way 3 times, it will let you go back in time. And she was using it so she could do double classes because she wanted to take more classes because she's a nerd. I respect that. Wish I had that option. I'm not done yet. So then Dumbledore tells her that if she uses the necklace, she could go back in time and save the hippogriff, which was going to get murdered, and Sirius Black, who was going to be arrested for crimes he didn't commit. And then...
Oh, that's right. I remember that part.
Yes. And so they go back in time and they do all those things.
Okay.
But I agree.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Now, would I say it's a better story than Hot Tub Time Machine? No. Not for a time
Or
travel.
Back to the Future.
It's a beautiful story. If we're
the internet.
no, it's a beautiful story. We talk about love and Godfathers and all those things. It is not Hot Tub Time Machine.
Okay.
And I want to
what are we on? Number 8?
Yep. So number 8 is the 2009 version of Star Trek. Another one I'm kind of lost on of why it made the list.
It has something to do with Spock dying.
Yeah.
Doesn't know when Spock goes back in time, right?
Well, they go back in
talk
time
to other
try
Spock.
Yep.
So the way they said it in here, because I kind of thought the same thing, but it says director J.J. Abrams' 2009 reboot of the Star Trek franchise sidestepped the problem of erasing the legacy of the film TV shows that came before by using one specific device, time travel. This genius idea allows Abrams' widely entertaining film to both exist in the same universe as the previous Star Trek movies with Kirk and Spock and the whole gang, while also opening up new possibilities for the future. Even though Abrams' Trek focuses on young Kirk, he exists in a new and changed timeline, so the future is not 100% set. That the film is able to explain this concisely while also serving as an incredibly entertaining adventure, all in its own minor miracle, that is Star Trek 2009. And while the sequel, Star Trek Into Darkness, hampered some of the goodwill, Abrams' initial film still stands as one of the most effortlessly rewatchable blockbusters of the 21st century. So I still didn't explain it too well, but JJ. I think you guys explained it way better than they did, but I kind of get it between the two. So this next one,
our simplified Spock died, goes back in time to talk to Spock.
Yeah.
And then the best thing is, like, Spock's like, "Am I able to see you?" And he's like, "Well, people think you're supposed to, but those humans are idiots." It's like basically what he says.
That's funny. So the next one is mid-90s, and I really I don't think I've ever seen the movie, but I really like the TV show. Anybody guess what it is? It has a number and an animals.
Quantum Leap.
A number and I don't know where the animal comes in that or the number, but
12 Monkeys?
Quantum, I guess. Yes. Nailed it. So,
not Quantum Leap, right?
No.
Yes,
I love the TV show. I don't think that's another one I never went back and finished because
I didn't know it was a TV show.
Same. I've only seen the movie.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah,
it's very good. And
Did I tell you what's in the box?
So I can't tell you how it's linked. But
7, Amanda.
Oh.
I really like the show, so I do want to go back and watch the movie because it has Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis in it.
I wasn't far off though, because Brad Pitt's in 7 also.
He is. You had your 6 degrees of Brad Pitt in that one.
All right, so number 6.
I lost count on what number we were on.
Number 6 now.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Nope, still not Hot Tub Time Machine. It's Edge of Tomorrow.
It's not on the list.
What's that about?
That's not the Tom Cruise movie?
Yes. So it's a similar premise to Groundhog Day, apparently. So it takes the nugget and runs with it. Keep every single scene fresh, even when watching the same day play out over and over again. The secret sauce is having Tom Cruise play an out-and-out coward, which stands in contrast to the public perception of his on-screen persona and results in a wonderfully refreshing viewing experience. So it's a white whale of
Is
Hollywood.
Groundhog Day on this list?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I forgot about Groundhog Day.
I did too.
Next is, we've already named it, is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I think everybody knows what that movie is. It's a very good movie. Any guesses on number 4?
Wonderful.
It has an animal in the name.
Groundhog Day.
I just said it.
Nope.
No?
That's a common theme for this, though, is animals in the name, I've noticed. Planet of the Apes.
Ooh.
So, it
You know,
is technically a
Fun
time.
fact: I have never seen a Planet of the Apes movie. New or
I
old.
have. I have.
I don't
That's good.
remember them.
So it is technically a time travel movie, even though audience whose first laid eyes on the 1968 film didn't know it until that final jaw-dropping scene. Charlton Heston's astronaut Taylor hasn't simply stumbled upon a planet made of apes. He's traveled into a future Earth where apes have actually taken over the planet. The film is rife with socio-political commentary, which continued throughout its underrated sequels and features one of the best Jerry Goldsmith scores ever created. But that ending, which paints the rest of the film in a whole new light, is what solidifies it as a classic.
Okay.
Number 3 is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. And number 2, which you guessed last minute, is good old Groundhog Day. Probably my... I think that's fair. I think the first and second are fair for all-time movies, because Back to the Future is like completely around time travel and kind of really plays with the idea, whereas Groundhog Day is, in a sense, it is time travel for sure, but it's not so centered around the storyline as Back to the Future is. So, of course, Back to the Future is number 1. But anybody that hasn't watched any of these movies should definitely go see them, because it seems like all of them are fantastic.
Indeed.
Well, I hope this gives everybody a good idea of time travel, or at least aids everybody's idea of time travel. And hopefully the science stuff in the beginning, we didn't lose half the people as I stumbled through it and attempted to explain it. But hopefully we can dive deep. I'd like to get into some specific cases of time travel, or really dive deep into the specifics of time travel with somebody that has a scientific background. I think just hearing from me that I can't dive deep into and explain it as well as maybe a scientist could do it much better justice than I can. But yeah, I think that was pretty good. Before I forget to say it, please rate and review us on your platform of choice. It really helps us, guys. It really it brings us up into the list, the charts, that people see us, stumble across us. Tell your friends and family about the podcast. Get us out there. We're trying to build a little community here. We're just getting started. Although we've been out for a little over a year now, we kind of had a slow start, but we're trying to kick them out as quick as we can now, and just trying to build something. So help us out. Leave a rate and review. Follow us on our social medias. Check out our website. We got some swag on there. And it still stands. I said several episodes ago that if you leave us a 5-star review on your platform of choice, especially Apple's the best way, but any of them will work. Let me know. I'll go pull it up, and I'll be happy to send you guys some stickers. We still have stickers, so if you're interested, let me know. I definitely want to thank. Yeah, who doesn't love
free stickers?
And I want to thank
JMO, we're going to give you a sticker. We'll send one your way for being a guest.
Yes, and thank you for joining us, JMO. It was a delight having you and having another gentleman on here, and again to get a male's perspective. It was good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, this was really fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome anytime.
Excellent.
Oh, we'll have you back, so don't worry.
And shameless plug, make sure you check out Bootleggers and Baptists. available on any of the streaming things you can think of, like Spotify and Apple and YouTube and all that good stuff.
We're gonna
all right, and we're gonna send our listeners out with a snippet of your
instead
music.
of our normal outro music, we'll definitely throw that in there to send us off. I want to thank everyone
Awesome.
again,
I was just gonna say I'm gonna throw out that "Devil in a Dress" is probably our single, so check that one out.
Sweet.
And that's the one we'll play then. I like it. I like the title. It should be my name of my autobiography.
All right. Well, thank everyone again. Until next time.
Hey y'all, Angela here with the fact checking for season 2, episode 3 of time travel. When Chris was going over the common issues occurred for time travel when he was discussing the casual loop paradox, he had said it was also known as the pedestrian paradox, when it is actually the predestination paradox. The butterfly effect, as it relates to the butterfly effect theory, rests on the notion that the world is deeply interconnected, such as one small occurrence can influence a much larger complex system. The effect is named for an allegory for chaos theory, and it evokes the idea that a small butterfly flapping its wings could hypothetically cause a typhoon, as found on the definition by the decisionlab.com. That was all I had from this week's episode. Talk soon.
Daddy, you know you are terrifying. Overwhelming power, paralyzing. Got paying up pleasure with you both under the blood moon rising. Yeah.